What's up, everybody? It's your boy Tru Element 78 in the building with,
Everybody's favorite narcissist, the natural Chris Black.
and today we are joined by a very special guest. You may have seen him on AEW or AAW programming. If you see his name on a card near you, you can damn sure bet that he's the main event, even if he's not the last match on the card, and I guarantee you should be grabbing tickets to that show. He is a future star in this industry. Currently, he is on a collision course with our very own Xavier Mustafa, who we have to claim for contractual reasons. He will be keeping the Legacy Pro Heavyweight Championship away from Xavier Mustafa as well. That match is happening this Friday, September 2nd, at the Buena Vista Banquets Hall in Greenfield, Wisconsin. A link for tickets will be down in the description. Without any further ado, he is the reigning, defending, undisputed Legacy Pro Wrestling Heavyweight Champion of the world, the human highlight, Isaiah Moore, everyone.
What up?
How you doing this evening, Mr. Moore?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great. I would like to personally give a thank you to you for continuing to soften up Xavier Mustafa as his retirement tour trucks along.
You gonna pick up
Hey,
the
man.
pieces?
Gotta do it.
Definitely gonna be picking up
Got
those
to.
pieces.
About that.
So if Legacy ever have a Money in the Bank gimmick, give it to you after one of Mustafa's matches, because that's the only way you'll beat him. Is you run down and cash in.
Wow. Usually, why are you on his side? He's not even here. You're gonna just defend him
I
all
gotta,
all,
I,
all
I got,
episode.
I gotta defend my Urban Horseman brethren.
Look, you know as well as I know, Mustafa's operating on borrowed time, and he knows it. Hopefully, on this tour that he's going on, and this power trip that he's going on in Legacy Pro, he's putting all of his money away and being financially responsible because Social Security is not going to cover him in retirement. So, hopefully, if Mr. Moore here doesn't put him down, I catch him before Ridge Holland or Sasha Banks get their hands on him.
Oh wow!
Yes.
So, anyways, let's get to our guests. Like I said, thank you for coming on and being with us. We're glad to have you here. You are the reigning, defending Legacy Pro champion.
I am. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure to be on here. And,
Yeah. So,
keep
like I said, you have that defense coming up. What are you doing in preparation for Mr. Xavier Mustafa?
lifting heavy weight because that's a big boy.
Is that going to be one of the biggest people you've been in the ring with?
Absolutely, absolutely. He's I'm sure he's close to about 400 pounds or so, or around that area. Definitely one of the biggest, if not the biggest guy I've been in the ring with. So it's definitely going to be a good David versus Goliath match.
All right. From all the videos I've seen of you, it's definitely going to be that power versus speed dynamic going on there. So, so let's just hop right into it. You're from Buchanan, Michigan, if I understand correctly. That's
That is correct.
where is that located around in Michigan?
It's about 25 minutes from South Bend, so about right on the border.
Oh, okay. Is that where you cut your teeth in the industry? Starting out.
So I was born in Michigan, but I primarily first started wrestling in the South Bend area. Yeah, so it's more local to that scene than anything.
Oh, okay. So, what got you into wrestling, and how long have you been doing it?
So this I've been wrestling about 6 years. Altogether 7, including training. What got me into wrestling? I've been a fan my entire life. Like I can't even tell you a time that wrestling hasn't been a part of my life. I grew up watching it with my dad every single Monday, every single Thursday, Friday, you name whatever day that it was on, I was watching it and watching VHS tapes, watching DVDs. I mean, you name it, man. It's always been a part of my life.
What was some of your favorite growing up watching?
My favorites, my all-time favorite's always going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's the guy that made me fall in love with wrestling. The Rock, The Undertaker, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, John Cena, just to name a few.
Okay. So in high school, did you do any amateur wrestling, or is that how you got started, or were you doing other sports? Because you're a very athletic person. If anybody has seen you fly around the ring.
I played football all growing up, and then I played basketball through high school. I never did wrestling. I had buddies that tried to push me for it, but I was just I wasn't big into the whole gotta cut weight, gain, make weight, that kind of thing. That was not me. I couldn't. I couldn't.
Couldn't do that. So, I mean, we all grew up as fans, but what made you take that extra step and say, okay, I think I can do this?
I guess I just got lucky. My dad was working at a place in Niles, and I mean, it was always something that I wanted to do. It was just a matter of how I was going to do it. But I got real lucky. My dad was working with a guy that had just started his pro wrestling training, and he doesn't wrestle anymore. But he was talking to him about it, and he was telling him how I was a big fan, and when I grew up, I wanted to be a wrestler, and he was like, well, you know what? We do training on Sundays, so why don't you just bring them and we'll try them out? And so on a random Sunday, and literally the summer I graduated high school, I started wrestling.
Hmm. So Isaiah Moore, is that your real name?
That is my real name, yes.
Okay, because I saw you had a different ring name when you first started. You were going by Satan, then Satan Moore, and Sam Moore. Where did the word name Satan come from?
So when I first started training, we were learning character development, and they were telling us everybody come up with a gimmick for the training matches, and it was supposed to be originally a darker gimmick. Like I used to practice painting my face and all sorts of different stuff, and I was gonna do that, but then I didn't like the face paint that much, so I just kept kind of changed it up, and it became me. And then as time went on, I just I didn't like the sound of the name or anything. Now I just hate the name. And when I was tagging with Theo Storm, he was just the one match we had. He yelled out, "Hey!" He was trying to get my attention to tag, and Isaiah, and I looked at him like, that's not my name. And we had the conversation after, and I was like, that's it. It doesn't have a bad ring to it. My name's not bad, so. I switched that up, and then the Sam Moore thing that just happened. They needed there was 3 Isaiahs in the match at AEW. They needed a name switch, and that's the first thing that popped into my head because Sam is my dad's name.
Okay,
so that's how that worked out.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's funny. That's funny as hell. That's not my name. Just forget in the middle of the match.
Oh, right in the middle too. Even the ref did it. He yelled out, Isaiah, and I was like, that's not my name. And then the refs counting, come on, Isaiah. And I looked at the ref and that's not my name. It was great.
We had that conversation on the podcast before about how to maintain kayfabe and using people's gimmick names. Like whenever you're in that environment, like you don't need to know my government name. To you, I'm
Right.
whatever.
Yeah, I done that a couple times. I've shouted, Eddie,
Like, who the hell is Eddie? There's no Eddie in this match. So we see you traveling all around. We know that you're the Legacy Pro champion right now. What other titles are you holding? I remember there was a time where you were what Kenny Omega was supposed to be. You were the belt collector. Are you still the belt collector?
I saw pictures with you holding like 6 or 7 titles.
I have about 6 or 7 now. Right now, I am Legacy Pro Heavyweight Champion. I am PWK's Kingdom Champion. I am the Squared Circle Megastar Shooting Star Champion. I'm one half of the Wisconsin Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. The EHF United States Champion. The Pro Wrestling All Stars Junior Heavyweight Champion. And I think that's it right now.
So
I might be missing.
You're talking about lifting heavy weights in preparation for Xavier Mustafa, just your suitcase.
Say that
You
one
said,
more time.
I said you were talking about lifting heavy weights in preparation for your match. It sounds like it's just your suitcase. It's a lot of hardware.
So I'm curious, what is your schedule like? Like, how do you prioritize which bookings you take? I mean, you've got 7 titles. Like, I'm pretty sure there's some scheduling conflicts. So how do you manage that?
I have had some scheduling conflicts in the past, but for the most part, most of the companies run on different dates, so it works out. And sometimes, like even recently, Squared Circle Megastars and Legacy were running on the same day, but they happened to be Legacy was earlier and Squared Circle was later. So and they communicated for me to be able to do both. So uh, for that, but luckily I've been able to balance it out for the most part. It does get a little tricky sometimes, mainly with AWE. They seem to run on the third Saturday, and usually that's pretty booked up for me.
Hmm.
But I've been pretty fortunate. They've been really good to me, just as much as every place else has. So
Hmm.
it has.
And you're a family guy as well too. You have a some kids. How I don't know how many kids you have though.
I have four of my own and one from previous, but absolutely my own as well. And
Okay.
yeah, definitely love being a dad. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's one of those things you and Chris Black can probably have that conversation about, especially once they start getting their own lives and running around. I have one, but I know um, Chris Black is always running around the hockey practices and
I've got, I've got
graduations and recitals and
I've got 3. 2 of them are teenagers, and the youngest is 11. So my oldest is 17. I got a
Yes,
14-year-old. Then I got an 11-year-old.
but I'm dreading, man. I got girls. I ain't looking forward to it.
I got lucky. One girl, just
I've
one.
been fighting all my life. That's why he lifting those weights for real. That's really why he.
Right? When they're 18, keep them away from the business.
Man, man. If I have it my way, the girl, my boys could be in the business, but my girls, I'm gonna try to shy away as much as.
Like, you don't want to do that.
No, it doesn't sound good. You get hurt.
That was actually gonna be my other question. So, does your family ever travel with you on the road to any of these other shows? Are your kids into wrestling at all?
So if the shows are like 30 minutes, 40 or less, then yeah, sometimes they'll come to some shows. But for the most part, no. I it's a lot on them, especially them being so young right now. They they do well for the most part, but yeah, when it gets later in the show, especially if I'm later on the card, it don't go too well. But maybe when they so.
Okay. Um. So I was also gonna ask, like, we talked about all the different championships that you have, which we know you work for way more federations than just the ones that you're champion in now. Have you met anybody at any of these in these other feds who you were starstruck by, or has anyone? What's some of the best advice somebody's given you behind the scenes as far as progressing your career?
I'm gonna need you to say that one more time. You were cutting out.
Oh, I was saying you worked for a bunch of different feds and everything. Have you been to any of them where you were kind of starstruck by a talent there, or someone gave you some really great advice behind the scenes as far as your career? Like you're pretty much what they would consider a veteran at this point. You say you're 6 years in, going on your 7th year. So
I've been fortunate to meet a lot of great talent. I think one of the most recent ones that gave me really good advice, and it wasn't even like a sit down, like, hey, this is what you kind of do. It was literally right before we walked out of the curtain, and it was Silas Young, and I was so amped up about this match and fired up, and right before we go out there, he looks at me and he's just like, emotion, 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 and it was like the smallest thing that he possibly could have said, But when we went out there and, we did the whole match and all that, and, I could feel that. And then we got to the back and he was explaining it a little bit more. And it was, you have to be able to feel what you're doing. You have to be able to connect with that crowd and get them drawn in. And it was all based on emotion. So it was like it was just the smallest thing, and ever since then it's just stuck with me. Like that's one of the biggest things. Like, and I wouldn't even, like it's something that I wouldn't even have been like, oh yeah, like yeah, you got to be emotional, but like no, the way that he was, just the intensity that he had when he was saying it, it brought a whole different element to how I viewed it, I should say. So
Silas is
yeah,
definitely one of
definitely.
those guys that step your game up whenever you work with him.
Yeah, big facts.
Well, we know that, like, we know we're coming out of the pandemic pretty much. It looks like monkeypox is coming up now, but pre-pandemic Isaiah Moore versus post-pandemic Isaiah Moore. I seen you before the pandemic, and you were not as thick as you are now, man. Like we said, you've been hitting the weights. You were kind of like on that Leon Ruff type thing. Now you got the Montez Ford thing going on. Was the body change a conscious decision, or did you wake up one day and notice that you gained the COVID-20 and it's like, damn, it's time to start training, and it just all fell into place for you?
No, it was definitely a conscious decision. I mean, obviously, I've heard it my whole life. You're skinny. You're as big as a toothpick, that kind of thing. And you never really realize it until you realize it. And I was trying to get serious about going to the gym, and it took me a while. And then when COVID hit, you ain't got nothing to do. Like the gyms were closed. Wrestle, you can't do that. So it was just, I had a lot of time to reflect, and that was one of the biggest things that I reflected on. I was, I want to be a wrestler. What do wrestlers do? They go to the gym. They look the part. So that was a big thing, and ever since then, I've taken it a lot more serious. I've changed my diet, so I'm eating healthier, and I've been able to gain 25 pounds since I started. So I'm very, very happy about that. I'm almost to my small term goal of 185. I'm pushing 180 right now. So
Okay. Yeah. We used to tease Chris Black about that. You see videos of him, he turned sideways, he disappeared.
I first started out in the business, I was 170 pounds.
But I think you're also taller, right?
6'1".
Yeah. See. So yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, I was just up and down, just straight up and down. Yeah. But you just spoke about your short term, like weight goals. What are your short term? Well, two-part question. What are your short term goals? Let's say in the next 3 to 5 years in pro wrestling, and then what's your ultimate? Like, what's your long term goal? What do you hope to get out of this business?
my short term goal, I mean, I guess that's part of the both long and short term, but short term goal would obviously to be a household name, to get a contract to make this full time. My long term goal and what I want to leave out of wrestling, I want to be able to leave it better than it was when I started. I want to be able to give back, and I want to make sure that this business continues. I want to be able to help, the generations to come, the younger guys, because I've met a lot of different guys in the locker room, and some different vets, and some of them are very bitter, and not uh they're not very helpful in the sense of like trying to give back to kids and wanting them to learn. A lot of them just complaining, or they're like, I've been doing this for 17 years and da 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 da. Like, that's awesome. Well, what are you teaching me in that? Like, I respect the fact that you've been in the business for that long, and obviously, longevity's key. But I think it's about giving back, and that's one of the biggest things that I want to be able to do is give back and make sure that wrestling's still here, for my kids and their kids, and so on.
There's so many cans of worms you opened up with your short term and your long term there. Because over here we usually call out names, but like we said, if
Yeah,
you
we don't
don't
want
want
to start
to,
no bridges.
yeah,
But
we know you're trying to get that contract. So, but I do have a question about some of that and kind of a response because I'm one of those people in the field that I work in. I run into people that are like, I've been doing this job for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. I'm like, okay, like that doesn't mean you can't learn something new sometimes or take in new information as well. Just because you've been in something for a long time doesn't mean you're great at it. Doesn't mean you're perfect at it. We can learn from each other sometimes. And then to go along with that, I think that the vets you say that withhold information, it feels like sometimes from the younger talents. I think, and we just had this recently where CM Punk came out and called out Adam Page about this is some advice you should take. And you hear people like Jake the Snake say, I try to give these kids advice and they don't want to hear it, they don't want to take any of it, and all these different types of things. I think some of them are so used to getting blown off by the younger generation that it's like, why even waste my breath? These guys aren't going to take it. They're going to go out there. They're going to do what they want to do.
right, and you know that bugs me, man, because it's like I don't understand that because wrestling's been around for so long, and I understand like the newer style, and you have to learn to adapt and etc. But if you can't learn the basics, if you can't learn proper psychology and storytelling, then especially from that older generation, like how do you continue? Not everything's gonna be how many flips I can do, or things like that. I absolutely can't stand that. Yeah, like, it's
Yeah.
one of the most. It's one of the pet peeves. Like you have to be able to be able to do both. You have to be able to work that old school and to be able to adapt to the new style.
And it seems like you have found that a good balance between the two. Like you do the high flying stuff and the high risk, but you also it also has a meaning behind it. I've noticed that in your matches, you don't. It's no wasted movement. So that's it's a
Thank you
big
for that. Absolutely.
compliment. Yeah, definitely.
Well, like I want to be able to do this for as long as I can, and if I'm out there just 450 every night, or flipping off this, all these crazy, jumping, doing dives on the concrete every night, and you're not gonna make it 20 plus
Right.
years. Like, yeah, great highlights in that, but I want to be able to walk when I'm 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
That's the
not
one. I was gonna say that's the one thing I appreciate about somebody like Darby Allin. He knows what he wants. And he's put it forward. He's not trying to do it for 20 years. So to see him when he's throwing his body around, you're like, okay, he already said he's not trying to do this for 20 years. He said if he can get 5 or 7 years out of it and he wants to go out there and treat his body that way, that's fine. But for
Right.
those who are looking to leave that legacy and have that longevity, yeah, you can't look at somebody like Kenny Omega right now. Like he's just beaten to shit. Like if you're watching the shows, everybody's saying, "Oh, he's trying to do the whole knock the rust off." I'm like, no, that man is still hurt.
yeah, there was no way. There's no way he should have been back this early. I said he should have been out until 2023, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah, you don't have shoulder surgery, hernia surgery, back surgery. You don't have all of that and come back after 9 months. But I digress when it comes to that.
Like, so. Like,
um, oh, go ahead. Oh, I thought you had
oh,
something else. I was just gonna say, and then also kind of what we were talking about is finding that balance. You're also seeing that with that it gets over. Like there's a lot of people that argue that it's about the moves, like, and not about the stories. When wrestling has always been about the stories, because that's what gets people invested. It was what gets them drawn into it because it's supposed to be a fight. And
yeah.
so, in order to care about the fight, you got to be emotionally invested. And who's proving that correctly now? Everybody like to always rag on the Jim Cornettes of the world, and oh, that doesn't work in this generation. The biggest tag team in the world right now is FTR, and they can go out there and they can do all the flips, they can do all of that type of stuff, but they keep it grounded. They'll pull off high flying moves when they need to, but they focus on the storytelling as well as with the wrestling. It's not about doing 20 moves in a match. It's about translating that story. So, like Chris Black said, you do a great job of that.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. The wrestling is an art. You know what I mean? And you're essentially painting a picture. You know, if you're just all over the place and you're doing all that, you ain't gonna get a pretty ass picture. But you know, taking your time and you're telling the story, and everybody can see what you're doing, and they, oh, that makes sense of why that happened, or you know what I mean? Like, you have to be able to tell a story. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, as athletic as everybody is nowadays, and there are some phenomenal athletes in wrestling today. You have to be able to deliver a story. You have to be able to keep people invested.
Yeah. Two of your best matches that I've seen were in Legacy Pro, and one of those was a triple threat with you and Carlito and Sean Priest for the Legacy Pro title.
Yeah.
That match was phenomenal. Hopefully, they release the Snyder cut of that. It hasn't been released to the world yet. We're gonna get on the owners of Legacy Pro to release that footage, because that needs to be shown to the world. And another one that you did, which I'm sure this was your one and only possibly, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. You had a 60-minute Ironman match with TW3 in Legacy Pro Wrestling, which you guys did some tremendous storytelling in as well.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that was not my only. That was my only 60-minute Ironman match. I've been in two. They were actually fatal four ways. They were 30-minute Ironman. It was a pretty interesting match. But no, that match was definitely one of my favorites that I've ever had. It was challenging, and I love being in the ring with T Dub. That's a guy that I can wrestle anytime, and it's a dude that pushes me to my limits at each and every time. And I have nothing but respect for that man.
Chris Bike, you got anything?
Yeah. So if anyone out there who's listening right now doesn't know, Isaiah Moore has had a 3, 4, or maybe more appearances at AEW Dark. So what's the vibe like backstage?
Uh, it's uh, it's pretty. It's nice. Everybody's pretty level headed. You don't. I mean, you know, maybe I just don't see it, but you know, I don't really ever see like egos flying or anything like that. Everybody's pretty nice and they're helpful, and everybody says hi to you. And it's a really great environment. You can really feel like the love for pro wrestling. That's for sure.
Is it one of those environments, or in your training, were you one of those that was raised to walk into the locker room and shake everybody's hand? Is it one of those type of environments where you're expected to walk in there and shake everybody's hands and kiss babies and everything like that?
You are
It,
cutting
it
in
looks
and
like
out,
this.
bro.
Yeah, it could be because it's the 10 o'clock hour, because
Yeah.
you're cutting out on my end as well. So once we hit 10 o'clock, sometimes we'll have some technical issues. But Chris Black, you're moving pretty well, so I don't know if it's my signal or Isaiah Moore's.
It's a little choppy. He's coming in a little choppy.
Yeah. Let's see. It
Maybe.
looks like he's trying to fix it. Are you good?
I can I can hear him.
You can hear us, but you can't see us moving.
There we go. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, your video is getting a little choppy. Like Chris Black, I can make out all of his movements, but yours is kind of breaking up there. I was saying, is AEW, is it one of those locker rooms kind of where you got to go in there and, or how were you trained? Are you one of those people that was trained to go in there and shake everybody's hands and kiss babies and introduce yourself to everyone, or you get heat in the locker room, or is it one of those more laid back environments?
It's laid back, but absolutely still. You still shake the talent's hand. You're still respectful to every single person that you're there and you meet, because you're just, you know, you're grateful to be there, and you want to show respect. You don't want any bad blood or anything like that. So I make it a purpose to show my respects to everyone. You don't literally, you know, like in a smaller locker room on the independent scene. You go and you shake everybody's hand in the locker room, etc. Well, yeah, there it's a much larger scale, and everybody is everywhere. So yes, you do shake talent's hand, but you're not able to get to exactly everybody or anything like that. But you're always respectful to the talent that does say hello, and I am able to speak to, and especially when they are able to take the time out and speak to you on the side.
Okay.
Well,
Hopefully, oh, go ahead.
I know that with literally thousands of workers to choose from, like what's the protocol to get into AEW, Dirk? Like how did you do it? Did somebody put you on? Did they recommend you? Like I said, they have lots of options to choose from on the indies.
Very, very much they do. I guess it was a big luck of the draw. I mean, and I was told I got seen from AAW, so it was a random Sunday. The extras talent coordinator had shot me a message asking for my email. Shot him my email, and not even an hour or so later, the AEW email popped in for the invite, and it was off to the races from there. And was told that yeah, they just seen the stuff that I was doing at AAW and liked what they seen, so they filtered me in, and was very lucky and happy to be there.
Me and Mustafa is always saying somebody is always watching. So
Absolutely.
good.
And you never
Get ready.
never know, especially on a random Sunday, you ain't expecting that kind of email.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So when you went to AEW, did you get to meet the big boss? Did you get to meet Tony Khan?
Yes and no. uh, very, very busy guy. You know, he's running around there making sure everything is running properly. But if he does walk by or whatever, he's very friendly. He'll say hi to you. I've seen him sit there and talk to some extra talent when they got a chance. He's a very good guy. He did say hi to everybody when he's passing by, but I can't say that I've got the opportunity to shake his hand in that sense now.
Okay. So AEW is getting ready to celebrate their 3rd-year anniversary on October 2nd. Like we said, you've worked there for them and several times. I know I believe you had a tag team match with Proud and Powerful, I believe. And then I think you worked the Dark Order as well, correct?
Yeah, I've worked them twice.
Okay.
So that was fun.
Um, so they came in looking to revolutionize and re-energize the industry because it was starting to feel a little bit stale because we pretty much had WWE was way ahead of the pack, and then you had Impact, and that gap was so far. um, as you've traveled around and you've been in the AEW locker rooms, how do you feel the state of the wrestling is currently?
I think wrestling is starting to thrive right now. You know, you have so many options, and especially how AEW's working with the different promotions like Impact and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and even WWE allowing like Mickey James to appear at the Rumble with the Impact, Women's Championship. I thought that was really awesome. So I think we're definitely in the definitely it's I don't know how to explain that. It's changing in a sense, but it's for the better. Like Vince going out and things like that. You see Triple H now taking over, and it excites me because I feel like it opens different doors. It opens different elements. You see a lot of love for pro wrestling again, and not just sports entertainment. So I think it's in a good state. It's revamping, and you get to see a lot of different talent, and I think it's in a really good state right now.
Yeah, as you talk about sports entertainment, I have a question kind of in regards to that. So we're looking around now. Vince McMahon is out. He was the person who created what we call sports entertainment. And now Triple H is in there. So as we look at the new regime in WWE, and we know what Triple H did with the NXT roster, and now you see those changes coming to the main roster. If someone was to put a contract in front of you today and it was Triple H or Tony Khan, which direction would you think that you would lean towards?
That's hard to say. I'm open for I'm open for both doors. I absolutely love working for AEW. They've been nothing but great to me. They're a phenomenal company. If WWE were to crack the door open, I would gladly kick it open. I think that's the main thing that a lot of people watch growing up. It's what I watched growing up, and I would love to learn from the best of the best, and especially the company that's been the number one company for over whatever it is.
Yeah, about 20 years
So
now.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I know that was kind of a loaded question, like, but we know, like you said, you're kind of you're getting bigger now, but you still would be kind of considered a smaller guy in the industry as far as WWE is concerned, especially when Vince was there. But you see what a guy like Triple H has done with the Tommaso Ciampas of the world and the Johnny Garganos, and you see the opportunities that people over in AEW get, like Adam Cole and everything like that, and also Adam Cole when he was in NXT as well. So I think that you have to feel really good about your prospects for the future as far as ending up in any of the companies, even if it's Impact, maybe NWA or anywhere, because the industry kind of is shifting now away from the huge guys, the 6'5" and up guys.
Right. Yeah, definitely thankful for that. I mean, that's still part of my goal. I still would like to I'd like to get at least 200 pounds, and that'd be nice. But no, I do love that you don't have to be the size of Brock Lesnar to get signed or to get the opportunity like that. That's very, especially seeing guys like Adam Cole or seeing guys like Finn Balor and things like that. They're not the most huge guys, but they still look the part. They still perform great, and so that makes me feel pretty good about it.
Speaking of which, if you could have a dream match right now with anybody that's currently active, we're not gonna do the past, but currently active, who would be your top three? I actually give you your top three.
Top three, since he's still technically competing right now, would be number one's Randy Orton. I would love to. I'm at a tie between AJ Styles and Finn Balor. But and then the third one, I'd have to. I would love to mix it up with Ricky Starks.
Oh, that's a great that was who I actually had in mind for you. Actually, I was like, you versus Ricky Starks would be a tremendous match.
Yeah, I definitely. I was just watching not too long ago. I was just catching up on AEW and was watching his promo, and you can definitely feel that. And I was like, man, I just one-on-one one day got me fired up. So yeah, definitely a guy that I'm up with.
And then, obviously you're still working the independents, and they're limited on budgets. But is there a specific type of match type that you have not had yet that you look forward to having one day?
I have been in quite a few different matches. I mean, I've been in cage, ladders, tables. So as far as gimmick wise, no, and I gave us the opportunity to do the 60-minute Ironman match. So not necessarily, though. As far as like what matches I wouldn't do, do the death match thing. That one.
You don't want to go against Nick Gage.
I can't do it.
I think that's what Xavier Mustafa has planned for you after Showcase of Champions. If you beat him, you versus Nick Gage in a hardcore match.
That that one. I might have to.
It's not gonna work for me, brother.
Uh,
It doesn't work for me, brother. That's what he's gonna hit him with.
these dudes tried to put me up. They were scheming. They were scheming to get Jack to come in to fuck me up.
Oh,
Yeah, your signal is going out, at least on my end. Yeah, and it was gonna happen. We spoke to him on Monday, and he mysteriously passed away by Wednesday, and nobody knows where Chris Black was during that time frame. So New Jack gonna get you one day. He gonna get you one day.
get you in the ring.
So they talking about they gonna get Nick Gage. Don't take that with a grain of salt.
I said I don't want Nick Gage now. I want the real king of the death match. We want to get Matt Cardona in here versus Chris Black.
I'll work Matt. He ain't gonna, he don't want to do that hardcore shit either.
So a match type I haven't seen, at least online, any footage of you, and we talk about it over here. How do you feel about the intergender matches? I know that that's kind of big out there, but I haven't seen you do any of that. Are you kind of like on the fence when it comes to that type of stuff?
No, I'm a big fan of women's wrestling. To me, they're a big inspiration in the sense of they definitely did not have it easy going from like the stages of just show your goods and look pretty to seeing women like Sasha Banks and Charlotte Bailey, and I really have loved watching women's wrestling. So I'd love if I happen to get thrown in a mixed tag match, let's do it. You know what I mean? They're gonna bring it just as much as anybody else would. So
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. We just lost the signal. We'll see.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. And I don't have
Summoned.
There we go.
there we go.
Yep, we lost you. Don't know what happened, but you're back.
It's always me.
So I have another
But
question.
no, the answer.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just wrapping it up. I absolutely I have nothing but respect for women's wrestling. So if I get thrown into intergender, let's do it. Charlie Cruel's on my list. She talks shit on Twitter all the time. Her and I need a one-on-one. I'm kicking her ass. So if you see this, I'm eating all the Pop-Tarts and I'm kicking your ass.
So you worked AEW at like the regular shows, and you also were there in the United Center for CM Punk's debut. What did that feel like to be in front of 20,000 fans? It's like we say that you're going for that contract, but it's like you've reached that peak right there of performing in the largest arena in the United States. You got to do that. That's on your resume. What was that experience like?
Surreal. Very, very surreal. So it was like it's so hard to explain. Like just even starting the day, we walked in, we actually went through the wrong door. And but it was kind of cool though, because security and all that was cool. They walked us through to where we needed to go. But walking through there, I've never been in that facility, so it was just amazing. I walked right past the Michael Jordan statue, and I was like, man, like this is real. And then once it got going, it was just it's like one of those like, oh man, this is happening. Like you get the butterflies and it's crazy, and then just being out there in front of that many people. I've been in front of 400 people, and they're loud and rowdy, and that's awesome. But to be in front of 15 to 20,000 people, and just the sight is just, it's amazing. And I would love to do that every night, just and having that many people that love wrestling and that are passionate and they're loud through the entire show, and just the rumblings of everything. It was just amazing, man. I can't even can't even put into words how like awesome it truly was.
Before you get off the indies, because like a guy like you're not going to last on the indies that long. Who are some people that you would like to work with that you haven't yet? Uh-oh. And now we're down
Uh,
to two.
I know, right? There's a lot of guys. I would love to. I actually do have the opportunity coming up to work with Jake something. Um, I would love to work with Hakeem Zayn, Rohit Raju. I would Matt Fitchett. I'd love to have a match with him. He's the AEW Pro Heavyweight Champion. Myron Reed is big on my list. That's a guy that when I first started wrestling, he uh, he gave me some good advice as far as getting serious about going to the gym and things like that. And guy that I've looked up to. I'd love to have a match with him. Um, Ace Austin, guy that I'd love to work with. So just to name a few. So I want to work with everybody that's going to be able to push me to the absolute limit. I just want to be able to get better and be the best that I can be and be the best in wrestling. Period. So
So, can you give us an appropriate for the internet road story? Like, what's your favorite road story thus far?
my favorite road story. um, man, I've got a few. So actually, yeah, I'll use one from Legacy. We had to pick Carlito up from the airport, and it became a very long day, very fast. So on the way up there, we ended up getting pulled over because the driver's plate wasn't matched up to the vehicle we were driving. It was still the guy's vehicle, all that, like all his. He just switched the plates over, and so we're sitting there, and and I'm just thinking to myself, like, man, I get to work with a big name. I'm already nervous about it, this and that, and then I'm sitting there, and we get pulled over, and I'm like, well, shit, he's never gonna win. He's never gonna win. And like, this is great. So yeah, we got pulled over. We sat there for I don't know, it was probably like 20, 30 minutes, and then we're late to the show. And yeah, so that was just that was a blast. My nerves were shot. And but Carlito, to his credit, man, he was literally, he says he's cool. He is cool. He was cool the entire time. Didn't stress it. He was cracking jokes, and the reason why we got pulled over, right? Yeah, I know. So that was pretty fun.
Okay. So, I know I could probably name a few. Now, you don't have to exactly name names, but has anyone ever tried to like take liberties during any of your matches, or they were just stinking up the joint?
Um, yeah. When it was probably about four, almost 5 years ago now. But I was doing a match, and it was actually like a rumble type deal, and apparently these guys had an issue with me. That they never addressed, by the way, never once pulled me to the side and were men about it and talked to me. They claimed that they did, and oh, he was talked to, and no, I never was. They never had the gall or the balls, I should say, to pull me to the side, man to man, and be like, hey, this is the issue that we have. And so doing the rumble or whatever, and guy gives me a snapmare, and he kicks me directly in the spine,
Oh,
like not across the shoulder, not in a safe place, directly in the spine. And when he did it, it sent my body into straight shock. And
mm,
I mean, literally, like it shot up, and I was like, oh man. I laid back, and I was like, am I gonna be able to walk again? So
right.
like I rolled out of the ring, and I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to walk, and I ended up I got my feet under me. They were still a little wobbly, but I got my feet under me, and I was just like, man, what the hell just happened? And yeah, I got to the back, and he tried to say, this it was because of this and that, but truth be told, it was because I had messed with a girl that he had liked at the time, and apparently didn't like that too much, and it's just thought that they were cool about it, so they took their liberties. And what's funny now is karma got him. He's not in the business anymore for.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, guys in. I'm not gonna name his name because he doesn't deserve to be talked about, but he chose to deal with underage girls. So yeah, big f
Oh,
you to that guy.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, yeah, this that's one thing that the business needs to clean itself up, get rid of this, get rid of all the bad elements in it, because like we already have a stigma as it is, and the last thing we need is to be a haven of like pedophiles and woman beaters and that kind of thing. Like some of those guys just got to go. So, I
Yeah,
don't what
absolutely. They all need.
like if you had a
They
choice,
definitely.
or you were able to, like, how would you clean up some of the trash out of the indies?
Um, it's so hard to say because you truly don't you don't really know people until unfortunately you don't know them for their true colors until some things happen. But I would, if it was possible, I would definitely do like background checks to make sure they don't have anything too serious or anything like that, or whatever, especially with children and things like that. But that's kind of, it's very hard to say because like I said, you don't really truly know that person outside of wrestling until you actually, there's the evidence, or word of mouth, which absolutely sucks. But yeah, I would definitely try to do like background checks, or maybe better checking during training. I'm not not 100% sure how I'd be able to fix that, but I'd love to because I have kids, so anything to be able to protect
Yeah.
mine and whoever's else's, because there's no room for people like that.
I came in on some heavy stuff. Yeah. So keep going, Chris Black. I gotta get back in here. My internet just decided to take a crap. I don't know. I think Mustafa's trying to
Oh.
stop this interview.
Okay. So I can think back to my first match and what it meant to me, and I still remember everything about the first match. Tell us about your actual first in-ring match in front of a crowd.
So my first actual in-ring match was it was like a big family and friends show, and it was really surreal because you know what I mean. Like you dream about doing that, and it was just it meant literally like everything to me to be able to, like, I'm actually becoming a pro wrestler. Like like I got a long way to go, obviously, but
Right.
it was awesome. I had my dad there. I had my brother there. Even I didn't even know he was coming. A dude I went to high school with, I was real close with. Randomly, he just showed up to support and like had seen that we were doing it, and it was really awesome. So like it meant the world to me. It felt like everything was starting to come together, and I had found my calling. So it's pretty awesome.
All right.
So it
I'm all
sounds
loaded
like your
back up.
parents were very receptive to you. Oh. So it sounds like your parents were real like receptive to you wanting to get into the business. Mine not so much. So like
Uh,
is
I
that
was
is that accurate? Your
my
parents
dad,
like on
my
board
mom.
with it, or were they not fans at first?
No, my dad's always been, hey, if you want to go do it, go do it. You know what I mean? He's always been that guy. Ain't nothing you can do. The only person that's gonna hold you back is you. And my mom, I'm very much baby boy to her. So she's very, you're gonna get hurt, and I just don't like seeing you do it. And all, I still get that to this day. She's went to some events, but she don't like to come see me wrestle. She don't like to, she don't want to see me get hurt and all that good stuff. So
So right now, there's been a lot of talks about the difference between. There's a question that this is a discussion we have on here all the time on the podcast, where we talk about working yourself into a shoot or giving receipts. And early in your career, I'm sure that there were some guys out there. Did you ever feel like somebody was taking advantage of you a little bit in the ring?
uh, outside of the he asked me a little kind of a similar question when you were out of there, but outside of that, no, not really.
Okay.
Most people that I've worked with are really respectful, and I haven't had too much of an issue with or anything like that. I mean, I've had my moments where like I've caught a good snug forearm, and you got to hey, you got to lighten up. You know what I mean? Or hey, do I owe you money? Like
Right.
I've had those moments, but nothing.
So you
His
never
wrestling is usually, did I sleep with your girlfriend or something? Unless you're the booker, then this does I owe you.
Yeah,
Do I owe you money?
that's the first situation. So there wasn't his girlfriend.
That's everybody's girlfriend in wrestling.
Right. Now, I know you're a family man, but I gotta ask. So what's your rat number?
One more time.
You heard him. No,
What's your rat number?
Not high at all.
come on, man. You were hanging out with MJF. I saw those pictures. He loves the rats.
No, I honestly I can't say that I have really messed with too many rats. I've been fortunate, and I got a good girl by my side now, so
That's
not
good.
big on that. Not
That's
big.
good.
Have you been in any situations, not necessarily involving you, where a rat may have been involved?
Quite a few.
What?
Not involved. Not involving me, but I've been in some situations where a partner of mine or whatever is been been
Like,
doing
bro,
some
her? You bringing her with, dude? I got a family.
literally. Even though I know the absolute truth, because that said rat is telling me everything that you're doing. Is what it is.
So let me ask, we're getting close to the end here. What does Isaiah Moore do outside of the ring for fun? Are you a D&D player, or are you in agreement with MJF and you don't play D&D now that you're in the gym?
I go to the gym quite a bit, and I really don't do. I'm a real simple guy. You know what I mean? I play with the kids. I mean, I have my video games. I'm a big. I'm like running on 2K right now, so I like to make sure that I'm winning on that. But I'm a pretty simple guy. I don't really do too much. Even my girl probably doesn't like that too much, because I get comfortable in the house, and I can be a homebody. I mean, I'm active in the sense of like I like to go to the gym and train and etc. But really simple. Don't got too many crazy hobbies outside of every once in a while going to shoot a basketball, because I still love basketball. But
And then as far as fans and different things like that, how does that feel for you in this at this time, like where you are, like in your life? Are you still kind of shocked that people might come up to you and ask for an autograph, or when like kids get excited when you come around, or have you been recognized out in public at all?
I've gotten recognized in public quite a few times. It's that one's the one that always catches me off guard. I can, if I'm at a show and stuff, and hey, sign this or whatever. You know, I'm kind of used to that. But you know, going to a random Walmart or whatever, Isaiah, and I don't even know who you are, but they, you know, I had in Walmart a whole conversation with me about how he watched me here and this, and that, and I had no idea. And I mean, the dude like knew me, like knew where I wrestled, knew he like knew, you know, the titles, this and that, and I'm like, man, you know about my career more than I do. Shit. But no, so that
Stalker.
it's always surreal. Like it's always pretty cool just to get recognized because you know, like I never would have pictured being a public figure, so to speak. So it's always really cool. And the kids, I love kids, man. The just seeing their faces light up, making the connection with them, and how excited they get. That's probably the best thing to me.
I want to ask Chris Black a question real quick because we asked you we who you would like to see yourself in the ring with, and since he's worked alongside you for a while now in Legacy Pro, who are three people you would like to see Isaiah Moore face off with? Is Chris Black froze?
Hmm.
Oh, did you hear me?
No, I'm thinking.
Oh,
Yeah, I
okay.
heard you. Trying to think here. Um, some guys I like to see you that's active. A lot of guys that I'd like to see you up against aren't act like Sadist. I don't know if you've heard of Sadist. I'm sure you've heard of Sadist. I would have
For
liked
sure, for sure.
to seen you work with Sadist. Um, I would have. Oh God, I guess these is truly our dream matches. I would like to see you against a guy like Chase McCoy. Chase was always very passionate. He was 100% all into his gimmick, like Psycho Chase McCoy. I think you and him probably would have really good chemistry. I'm gonna think some JX. I'm pretty sure you two have crossed paths before, but I would like to see it myself. You
You
versus
said,
JDX.
oh, the real McCoy
We
JDX.
actually each other
Yeah.
at MAW. It was pretty
Yeah.
good. I love to mix it up again though, for sure.
Who went over?
Oh yeah.
He got me. He got me on that one.
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, mine was Ricky Starks. I would love to see you face off with Ray Phoenix because I think that would push you to a higher level, and I would like to really see you guys hang with each other. And who was my third? Oh, my third was actually Rey Mysterio. So you get in there, mix it up with the legend Rey Mysterio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. So, Chris Black, you have any more questions? Otherwise, we can get to the wrap up.
Oh, that's all I got. I just want to thank you for your time, brother.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
So I'm gonna do a thing real quick. It's called First and Last. This is something I took from one of my homeboys up here, on from his radio show. So I'm just gonna ask you two questions. One is gonna be related into the first thing, and then the second question is gonna be about the last thing. So first and last. So what was the first title you won and the story behind it?
First title I won was the EHF Heavyweight Championship, and story behind it was I was chasing. Name was Rock Langston. I went through a series of matches. It was literally like we did a show. We did a series of shows at Buchanan High School, and I was the hometown hero. And he did everything in his power to keep me away from the titles and triple threat matches. I had beat him in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and he was trying to avoid me. So then he threw another guy at me the next week, and I ended up beating him, and then culminated in a big triple threat cage match, and I won the title.
Okay. And then the last question is, what was the last movie that you saw in theaters?
Oh man, what was that? I think it was Morbius.
Oh
That was
man.
the last.
What was your Morbius review?
I was. It was all right.
That's probably why you haven't been to the theaters.
I just that wasn't the one.
It's not the Morbius I know. Are you a comic book guy?
My dad was. I just listened to him and I watched all the movies.
Okay. Okay. And as I was sitting here and we were recording this, I was like, man, him and Mustafa should do a beard versus beard match.
I'm not losing that match.
You're gonna be baby face.
Oh, that's one thing I'll probably never see again in my entire existence is a shaved beard. I can't do it.
You gotta fight with everything. You gotta kill me in the ring.
I'm telling
you, go to business for yourself.
You gonna have that's a shoot.
He like, if I lose, we both losing. Fuck that. Yeah, Mustafa says the same thing. Whenever we do the.
You said what?
What'd you say, Chris Black?
I was like, so would you be pissed off if somebody ribbed you? Like, let's say while you were sleeping, you know how they used to do old school.
Oh, that's
like
right.
if you sleep, I'm not, and someone just shaved your shit right down the middle, like.
That's grounds for ass whoopings. I ain't no. That's no.
Get the Billy Graham going.
Have you ever been a victim of ribbing?
Yeah. So I got ribbed at a PWK show. I dropped my wallet.
Oh boy.
And I dropped it like by my bag or whatever. And Mackenzie, I think it was Silas too. Silas told her to do it. So yeah, Silas told her to keep my wallet, and so I'm like flipping the hell out, running out to the car and circling around the ring and checking up under everything, and then I go back out to the car again, and I'm like, man, shit, where's my wallet? And I walk back in, and it's sitting on my gear bag.
See, lucky for you, this isn't the 90s because you would have been buying drinks and drugs for all the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been.
You see my face? I was like, oh, they probably opened a tab on your shit.
Man.
So that was pretty much it. All your social media is going to be down in the description, but do you want to shout out your social medias real quick as well? Or if you have a pro wrestling tees or anywhere else people can support you, we know where they can see you.
Yeah, so I think I seen it going across the bottom. You can follow me on Twitter. That's it's H Isaiah _ more H. Instagram is the _ human highlight. Facebook is Isaiah Moore. I do have a TikTok. I don't post on that very often other than wrestling clips, and sometimes you can find some funny videos on there. But that should be the human highlight as well. And I do have a pro wrestling tees. You can find it on there. I have to upload some more merch on there coming up soon. So you can find me on there as well, Isaiah Moore. And yeah, that's about it.
And one final thing, your final words. This is going up before your match to Xavier Mustafa. So you have any final words for Xavier Mustafa? He said he owns your kids.
Yeah. He wrote a check with his mouth that his ass couldn't cash. So as big as he is, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So Showcase of Champions, I've been the my opinion, I think it's a fact. I've been the best champion that Legacy's had, so I'm gonna continue this reign, and that's what all I got to say about that.
All right, and we'd like to thank you for coming on and joining us throughout all the technical difficulties and everything that we had. Hopefully you have fun, and we can expect to have you back on here, and you'll still be the Legacy Pro Heavyweight Champion of the world.
Oh yeah, anytime, guys. Thanks for having me on. I look forward to coming back.
All right, appreciate you.
All right, thanks.
Yep. All right, go ahead and give out your social medias, Chris Black.
Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at the Natural Chris Black. You can follow me on what's it called? Twitter, the underscore natural underscore CB. And as always, follow my YouTube channel for all my coverage of New Japan Pro Wrestling. The Natural Chris
And you
Black is the channel.
Uh, and you can catch me at Slamcaster TE78 over on Twitter. You can also get our podcast wherever you get your podcast from. Just search Saturday Night Slamcasters. Obviously, you're here over on YouTube, so make sure you give us a thumbs up, ring that bell so you're notified whenever new episodes go up, and hit that subscribe button. Share this with other wrestling fans that you think may like our content. Also, check us out over on Facebook, where we have our Saturday Night Slamcasters official page, as well as our Slam board, which is a community of wrestling fans and fans of this show, where you can go in there, you can talk about non-wrestling related things, and also just post memes in there and shit. So, other than that, holla at your boy. Come get slammed. Peace.